Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring a creature that, well, it really stretches the imagination.
It really does. An invertebrate, but with smarts, often compared to a dog's.
Right, and blue blood, 3 hearts, and this ability to literally taste what it touches.
With his skin. It's a biological enigma, isn't it? It seems to defy so many rules we think we know about animals.
Absolutely. So we're plunging into the fascinating world of the octopus today. A soft-bodied marvel, really, that's captured our imagination for, well, centuries.
And this deep dive, it's based on some really comprehensive sources, mostly a detailed look at the octopus entry on Wikipedia. It's packed with surprising facts.
Yeah, a ton of information. Our mission, then, is to unpack what makes these creatures so unique.
Right.
You know, from their anatomy, which is just bewildering,
to their life cycle, their incredible intelligence, and our own complex relationship with them.
Get ready for some aha moments, folks. We think you'll come away pretty amazed.
Definitely well-informed, at least.
All right, let's dive in. When we talk about these incredible creatures, I mean, where do you even start? Maybe the name itself.
Good place to start. The name octopus, it comes from ancient Greek. Octopus.
Meaning 8 foot, right?
Exactly. And yeah, people get really tangled up in the plural. You hear octopi, octopodes.
So what's the right way?
The standard English plural, the one you should probably use, is just octopuses. Simple as that.
Okay.
Octopodes is, well, it's the Greek plural, historically correct, but pretty rare nowadays. And octopi, that's just technically wrong. It treats octopus like a Latin word, which it isn't.
Ah, good to know. So octopuses, it is. Beyond the name, where do they sit in the animal kingdom?
Well, they're in the order Octopoda, and that's part of the class Cephalopoda.
Cephalopods, so like squids and cuttlefish.
Exactly. Squids, cuttlefish, nautiloids too, they're all related. And octopuses specifically, they're bilaterally symmetric, same on both sides. 2 eyes and that beak-like mouth right in the middle of all those arms.
8 limbs, we should say.
8 limbs, yes, or arms.
And their bodies are famously squishy.
Incredibly so. That soft, deformable body is key. It lets them squeeze through gaps you wouldn't believe, like as small as 2.5 centimeters. About an inch.
Wow, just pouring themselves through.
Pretty much, yeah. It's amazing to watch.
And size-wise, they're not all the same, are they? There's a huge range.
Oh, massive range. You've got the tiny octopus wolfie, which is maybe an inch long, weighs less than a gram, barely anything. And then you have the giant Pacific octopus, Enteroctopus doflani. These guys are huge. Adults are typically, 10 to 50 kilos?
That's 22 to 110 pounds.
Yeah, and their arm span can reach nearly 5 meters, like 16 feet across. The biggest one ever, scientifically documented, 71 kilograms.
Almost 160 pounds. That's incredible. Okay, let's get into the internal wonders, those arms. They're more than just limbs, right?
No, absolutely. They're incredibly flexible. Technically, they're muscular hydrostats, meaning there's no bone, no skeleton inside. It's all muscle working against internal fluid pressure. Think like an elephant's trunk or, your own tongue. It gives them amazing dexterity.
And the suckers aren't just for grabbing.
No, this is fascinating. The suckers also have chemoreceptors. They can literally taste what they touch.
Taste with their arms. That changes everything about how they sense their world.
It really does. Gives them this incredibly intimate sense of their surroundings. And typically, the back 2 arms, they often use those for walking along the seabed.
Right, for stability.
And the other 6 are more for exploring, foraging, grabbing things. And then you have the mantle, that big bulbous part that holds all the vital organs.
And the siphon.
Yeah, the siphon is key. It's for breathing, pulling water over the gills, and also for that jet propulsion escape move.
Okay, so beyond touch and taste on their arms, what about other senses? Their vision?
Their vision is really good. Camera-like eyes, quite similar to ours, actually. Pupils can expand and contract. But here's something wild. Their skin can sense light. There are light-sensitive proteins, opsins, in their skin cells.
Seriously?
Yeah. It means the chromatophores, those are the pigment cells for changing color, can react to light independently of the eyes. It's like their whole body is, in a way, seeing.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
And hearing. Balance.
They have statocysts, little sacs that help them sense gravity and orientation, so they know which way is up. And they can detect sounds, mostly in the 400 to 1,000 hertz range.
Okay, moving inside again. That circulatory system, this is where it gets really weird, right? 3 hearts.
3 hearts, that's right. It's genuinely fascinating. You've got one main systemic heart pumping blood to the body, and then 2 smaller branchial hearts, one for each gill, pushing blood through the gills to get oxygenated.
Okay, makes sense.
But here's the kicker. The systemic heart, the main one, it actually stops beating or becomes inactive when the octopus swims really fast using jet propulsion. Well, it seems the pressure gets too high, maybe. Whatever the reason. It means they tire out really quickly when they jet. That's why they prefer to crawl. Jetting is mostly for, quick escapes.
That explains a lot. And the blue blood.
Right, not red like ours. It's blue because their blood uses a copper-based protein called hemocyanin to carry oxygen instead of our iron-based hemoglobin.
And it's better for.
It's more efficient in cold water with low oxygen levels, which is where many octopuses live. Their blood pressure is pretty high, too. It can be over 75 millimilli G.
So breathing with gills, skin-absorbing oxygen, too. You mentioned that.
Oh, yeah. Their thin skin can absorb a surprising amount of oxygen, especially when they're resting, up to maybe 40% of their needs.
And the ink, the famous defense.
Ah, yes, the ink sac. It's near the siphon. Produces this dark, melanin-rich ink. When they're cretin, they shoot out a blob.
Smoke screen.
Exactly, a visual smoke screen, but it also seems to mess with the predator's sense of smell, gives the octopus a chance to get away. Though, worth noting, some deep-sea types, the Perseids octopuses, they don't usually have an ink sac.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift to their life cycle. It sounds like a pretty intense, short ride. How does reproduction work?
It's pretty unique. The male has a specialized arm called a hectocotylus.
A dedicated arm for mating.
Basically, yeah. He uses it to transfer sperm packets, spermatophores, into the female's mantle cavity. It's quite a delicate operation.
And the female's role after that sounds like a huge commitment.
It's an incredible and final commitment. Once the eggs are fertilized, she finds a den, lays them sometimes thousands upon thousands.
Like the giant Pacific octopus, up to 180,000 eggs.
Exactly, and then she guards them meticulously, doesn't leave. She constantly cleans them, aerates them with jets of water for months. The giant Pacific, maybe 5 to 10 months.
And she doesn't eat during this time.
No, she dedicates everything to those eggs. She essentially starves, weakens, and usually dies shortly after the eggs hatch. It's her final act.
Wow. That directly leads to their lifespan then. Famously short.
Tragically short, really. Most live maybe a year or 2, some up to 4. Smaller species might only live 6 months. Their life basically ends in senescence.
It's a rapid decline.
Yeah, a programmed rapid breakdown of cellular function. Males decline after mating, females after guarding their eggs. They stop eating, waste away. It's triggered by hormones from their optic glands, believe it or not.
A dramatic end. Given these constraints, where do they actually live?
Pretty much everywhere, every ocean. They're incredibly adaptable. Coral reefs, open ocean waters, the deep seabed, tide pools.
Even extreme environments.
Oh, yeah. Down near hydrothermal vents, 2,000 meters deep. And some species live in Antarctic waters that are below freezing, around minus 1.8 Celsius.
But not freshwater, right? That's key.
Correct. No known freshwater octopus species. They're strictly marine.
Masters of adaptation indeed. Let's talk behavior. Mostly loners, right?
Mostly solitary, yeah. They like their privacy, their dens, which can be crevices, old shells, even discarded bottles. And they're smart navigators. They can find their way back home without just retracing their steps.
And you often see debris around their dens.
Yeah, the midden, it's like their little trash pile of leftover shells and crab bits. Tells you someone's home. But there are exceptions to the solitary rule.
Like that larger Pacific striped octopus.
Exactly. That one's known to be quite social, living in groups, maybe up to 40 of them. It challenges the stereotype.
How do they hunt? What's their strategy?
They're predators. They go after crabs, clams, snails, fish, even other octopuses sometimes. Mostly, they feel around, use those tasting suckers, and then ambush their prey.
And they can get into shells.
Oh, yeah. They have that beak to bite, but they can also use a structure called a radula, like a tiny toothed tongue, to drill holes into shells. Then they often inject a toxic saliva that paralyzes the prey and starts dissolving it.
Okay, I have to ask about this. Hunting with fish and punching them. Is that real?
Haha, yes. It's absolutely real and amazing. Some octopus species have been observed hunting cooperatively with certain types of fish.
How does that even work?
They seem to coordinate somehow. But yes, researchers have documented octopuses literally delivering a swift punch with an arm to a fish partner.
Why?
The thinking is it's to manage the group, maybe keep the fish in line, get it back to hunting, stop it from stealing the prey, or just assert dominance. It's complex social interaction.
That's incredible. Just incredible. Okay, movement. We know they crawl and jet. Any other tricks?
Well, crawling is their main slow and steady mode. Jetting is fast but tiring, mostly for escape. But some are really clever.
Like walking.
Yes. Species like Octopus aculeatus and the veined octopus can actually walk on two arms. They sort of sneak along the bottom, often bunching up their other arms to look like drifting seaweed or a rock.
Camouflage while walking.
Exactly. And the veined octopus, famous for carrying coconut shells.
Right, for shelter.
Yeah, it walks on two arms while holding the shells underneath with others, kind of like walking on stilts. And some can even crawl out of the water for short periods, moving between tide pools.
Okay, let's get to the big one. Intelligence. This is what octopuses are maybe most famous for.
And rightly so. They are, without doubt, highly intelligent invertebrates. It really challenges our ideas about where intelligence comes from.
How do we know? Like, what's the evidence?
Well, classic maze experiments, problem-solving tests, they show strong memory, both short-term and long-term. They learn quickly.
Can they recognize things?
People. There's evidence they can distinguish between different shapes, patterns, and potentially even individual humans, though that's debated. They definitely show distinct personalities in labs.
And tool use. You mentioned the coconut shells.
Yes, the veined octopus collecting, carrying, and assembling coconut shells as a portable shelter is a clear example of tool use. It requires forethought.
Really?
It seems so. There are observations of octopuses repeatedly pushing a bottle around with jets of water in their tanks, seemingly for no reason other than, well, amusement. That fits the definition of play.
And the escape stories from aquariums are legendary.
Absolutely legendary. They're notorious for figuring out lids, squeezing through tiny openings, even traveling across floors to raid other tanks for food. It speaks volumes about their problem-solving skills and curiosity.
What's going on in their heads, or maybe more accurately, their bodies? That nervous system is different, isn't it?
Hugely different. They have a large brain, sure, but over 500 million neurons, similar to a dog, maybe. But here's the amazing part. About 2/3 of those neurons aren't in the central brain. They're in the arms.
So arms are thinking.
In a way, yes. Each arm has a degree of independent control. It can figure out how to move, grasp, even react to stimuli on its own with minimal input from the central brain. It's like a distributed network. A severed arm can still move and react for a while.
That's mind-bending. And there's some weird genetic connection to us.
Yeah, these things called jumping genes or transposons. Both humans and octopuses have a lot of these active in their genomes. It suggests some kind of parallel or convergent evolution happening at the molecular level, which is pretty wild given how distantly related we are.
And all this intelligence raises questions about sentience, feeling pain.
Increasingly, yes. The evidence is mounting that octopuses are likely sentient beings capable of experiencing pain and distress. This has huge ethical implications, especially for research and how we treat them generally.
Which brings us to another of their superpowers.
Yeah.
Camouflage and defense.
Masters of disguise. They have these specialized skin cells, chromatophores for color, iridophores for iridescence, and leucophores for white spots. They can change their color and skin texture almost instantly.
Mimicking rocks, seaweed.
Perfectly. Smooth sand, bumpy rocks, swaying algae. They can match it incredibly well. It's a very energy-intensive process, though. Nearly doubles their resting metabolism when they're holding a complex pattern.
And they do that weird passing cloud thing.
Yes. Waves of dark color that sweep across their body. It might startle predators or just make it hard to track them. It's quite dramatic.
But then there's actual mimicry, right? Pretending to be something else entirely.
Oh, yeah. The mimic octopus is the champion here. It doesn't just blend in, it actively impersonates other animals.
Like what?
Like venomous lionfish by arranging its arms, sea snakes by burying its body and waving two arms, flatfish, jellyfish. It uses its flexible body and color control to adopt the shape and movement of dangerous creatures to scare off predators. It's astonishing.
And some just warn you off, like the blue-ringed.
Exactly. That's aposematism, or warning coloration. The blue-ringed octopus is normally camouflaged, but if threatened, it flashes those brilliant, iridescent blue rings. It's a clear signal. I'm dangerous. Back off.
What else could they do if camouflage fails?
Well, there's the ink, as we said. They might adopt a threatening posture, a diamatic display to look bigger or scarier, and they can sacrifice an arm.
Autonomy. Like a lizard's tail.
Precisely. If a predator grabs an arm, the octopus can detach it. The arm might even keep wiggling, distracting the predator, while the octopus escapes, and the arm grows back.
Incredible regeneration. Okay, finally, let's look at octopuses and us. Our relationship seems pretty long and complicated. Culturally, they pop up everywhere.
They really do. You see them in ancient Minoan art from Crete, like 3,500 years ago, on Mycenaean pottery. They show up in myths as sea monsters, right?
The Kraken.
The Kraken, yeah. Or Akura Kamui in Japan, even comparisons to Medusa. Literature, too. Victor Hugo's Toilers of the Sea has that famous octopus fight.
And that very famous Japanese artwork.
Hokusai's The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife. Yes, part of the shunga, or erotic art tradition. It's certainly iconic and has influenced many artists since, even Picasso.
And we even had a celebrity octopus predictor.
Paul the Octopus, who predicted the 2010 World Cup matches, became a global sensation. Shows how they capture our imagination.
But there's a serious side. Are they actually dangerous to humans?
Generally, no. They avoid us. And while technically all octopuses are venomous, they use venom to subdue prey. Only one group is lethally dangerous to humans.
The blue-ringed octopus again.
Yes. Their venom contains tetrodotoxin, or TTX. It's a powerful neurotoxin, the same found in pufferfish. It blocks nerve signals, causes paralysis, and can lead to respiratory failure.
Is there an antidote?
No specific antidote. Treatment is supportive care, mainly artificial respiration, keeping the person breathing until the toxin wears off. Recovery within 24 hours is possible if breathing is maintained.
And the bite itself might not be obvious.
That's a key danger. The bite can be tiny, almost painless, and might not even look like a puncture. Someone might not realize they've been bitten until the numbness and paralysis start setting in. So admire them from a distance.
Good advice. Moving from danger to dinner. They are a food source.
A significant one, yeah. Hundreds of thousands of tons are caught each year. Very popular in Mediterranean and Asian cuisines. Think octopus salad, takoyaki.
But farming them is controversial.
Highly controversial. There are attempts to establish commercial octopus farms, but it raises huge ethical questions because of their intelligence, their solitary nature, their specific needs. Many scientists and welfare groups are strongly against it.
And eating them live. Sanakchi.
Yes, in Korea. Pieces of freshly killed octopus are served while the nerves are still firing, so the tentacles are squirming. There's a real choking hazard from the act of suction cups. Sadly, deaths have occurred. And again, animal welfare groups object strenuously given the evidence for pain perception.
Beyond food, they've really influenced science and tech.
Oh, hugely. People have been studying them for millennia. Aristotle wrote about their color change. Now we've sequenced octopus genomes, helping us understand their unique molecular biology.
And philosophers are interested too.
Yes, thinkers like Peter Godfrey Smith have written extensively about octopus intelligence, comparing it to a kind of alien intelligence that evolved completely independently from vertebrates like us. It makes us question what consciousness even is.
Their bodies are also inspiring.
Robots. Definitely. It's called biomimicry. They're flexible arms, capable of complex movements without rigid skeletons, and with that distributed nerve control.
Yeah.
That's a huge inspiration for soft robotics.
So robots that are squishy and adaptable.
Exactly. Things like gentle robotic grippers that can handle delicate objects, or robots that can squeeze into tight spaces. Octopus arms are a fantastic model for that kind of technology.
And finally, how are they protected? Is their status changing?
It is, and it's fascinating. For a long time, invertebrates generally had few protections in research contexts. But in the UK, the common octopus was actually protected under animal procedures laws back in 1993.
Just the common octopus.
Initially, yes. But then in 2012, following an EU directive, that protection was extended to all cephalopods, octopuses, squids, cuttlefish.
Why?
Because of the accumulating evidence for their intelligence, sentience, and capacity to feel pain. It sparked debates about whether they deserve protections similar to, say, vertebrates like monkeys used in research. It reflects a real shift in our understanding and maybe our empathy.
What an incredible journey we've taken. Just recapping. This ancient lineage, the bizarre anatomy, 3 hearts, blue blood, tasting arms.
Their mind-blowing intelligence, problem-solving, maybe even play. That mastery of disguise.
And this really complex history with humans, from myth and art to food, science, and now even ethical protection.
It's a lot to take in. So what's the takeaway? What does this all mean for us?
Well, maybe the octopus, this creature that seems so alien, so other, is actually a profound reminder.
A reminder of what?
That life and intelligence can take forms that are wildly different from our own right here on Earth. The deeper we look into the natural world, especially the oceans.
The more surprises we find, the more we realize how much we don't know about consciousness, adaptation, and the sheer ingenuity of life.
Makes you wonder, what else were they capable of? What else could they teach us if we really paid attention?
Imagine stepping outside on a perfectly clear summer night. The air is warm, stars are just brilliant pinpricks of light, and then, boom, a streak of light blazes across the sky, gone in an instant. A shooting star.
Yeah.
It's breathtaking, isn't it? But what if I told you that some of these celestial fireworks are, well, much more than just random events? They're part of this ancient, ongoing cosmic show, like a river of light flowing through our solar system.
It's true. And, while many people just enjoy that fleeting moment, there's this incredible structured story behind it. It's fascinating because it connects to something really magnificent, much bigger than just one flash.
Absolutely. And that's precisely what we're diving into today. Our mission here is to unpack the incredible story of the Perseids meteor shower.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just going to cover, the science, but also their origins, how you can best experience them, and their surprisingly rich journey through history, culture, even pop entertainment.
Yeah, it's a lot to cover.
Think of this as your shortcut to really understanding this annual cosmic display. We're distilling the most captivating facts and untold stories from its extensive Wikipedia entry, bringing you the essential insights you might miss just reading it yourself.
It's a perfect example of how science, history, and just human stories, they all intertwine in really unexpected ways.
So let's get into the science first. Fundamentally, what exactly are the Perseids?
Okay, so at their core, the Perseids are what we call a prolific meteor shower. That just means you see a lot of them.
Right.
And they have a direct, undeniable link to a specific object, the comet Swift-Tuttle.
Ah, the comet connection.
Exactly. It means what we're seeing isn't just random space dust. It's like the leftovers from this very specific comet's journey.
And the name Perseids, it sounds specific. Where does that come from? Does it tell us where to look?
Good question. They're called the Perseids because the meteors appear to shoot out from the general direction of the constellation Perseus. That apparent origin point is what astronomers call the radiant. Though, to be precise, the Perseids radiant actually borders on Cassiopeia and Camelopardalis as well.
Interesting.
And yeah, beyond the astronomy, there's a mythological origin too. It comes from the Greek Perseids, meaning the sons of Perseus in mythology.
So it's all about this comet then, Swift-Tuttle. Tell us more about it and this Perseid cloud you mentioned.
Right. The parent body, comet Swift-Tuttle, is pretty remarkable. It has this really long 133-year orbital period.
133 years.
Yeah. And as it travels through space, it ejects this continuous stream of debris, basically tiny dust particles, little fragments. And that is the Perseid cloud.
And these particles have been out there for a while.
Oh, yeah. Most of them have been part of this cloud for around 1,000 years, just orbiting, waiting for Earth to pass through.
1,000 years? That's kind of mind-blowing for tiny dust bits. Has the comet added anything more recently?
Yes, actually. What's really interesting is there's also this relatively young filament of dust that got pulled off the comet back in 1865.
Oh.
And this newer stuff can sometimes cause an early mini-peak of activity, often the day before the main shower maximum.
So how big is this whole cloud, this trail we pass through?
It's huge. I mean, the dimensions near Earth are estimated to be about 0.1 astronomical units across.
0.1 AU, that's like, what, 15 million kilometers wide?
Pretty much, yeah. And it stretches about 0.8 AU along Earth's orbit. It gets spread out over time by, Earth's gravity pulling on it each year.
Wow, that scale. It's hard to even picture. An immense ribbon of dust. So when these tiny fragments hit our atmosphere, what happens? How fast are they going?
Incredibly fast. These meteoroids enter Earth's atmosphere at about 58.8 kilometers per second. Yeah, way faster than a bullet. And what happens is most of them just burn up really high in the atmosphere, typically above 80 kilometers, so about 50 miles up.
And that burning up is what we see as the streak of light.
Exactly. The rapid combustion, the air around them getting superheated, that's the visual effect.
And sometimes they're more than just a quick flash, right?
Oh, absolutely. They can produce these long, bright trails sometimes, which are just beautiful, and occasionally you might even spot fireballs.
Fireballs.
Yeah, particularly the ones you see earlier in the night, sort of before midnight. They can be grazing the atmosphere at a shallower angle. Those are the really memorable ones, the ones that make you gasp.
Okay, so knowing all that amazing science, the comet, the dust, the incredible speed, it makes you want to see them even more. How can you, our listener, best catch this show? When and where?
Right. So the shower is generally visible from mid-July through late August each year.
Okay, a pretty wide window.
Yeah, but you want the best show, the most intense activity. That usually happens between August 9th and 14th. The exact peak date can vary a bit depending on where Earth is in the stream that year. Like in 2023, the peak was August 13th.
And wasn't there something special about 2023? Some ancient dust.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
An intriguing possibility that Earth might have crossed a dust trail that Comet Swift-Tuttle released way, way back in 69 BCE.
69 BCE. Seriously.
Seriously. Around August 14th, 2023, there was a chance this ancient trail could create an extra burst of meteors, a little bonus from the deep past.
Wow. So during the peak, you might see 60 or more meteors an hour. But I've heard the term zenithal hourly rate, or ZHR, thrown around. What's that about?
Good question. The ZHR, zenithal hourly rate, it's basically a standardized measure. It helps astronomers compare shower intensity. It estimates how many meteors you would see per hour if the radiant was directly overhead and the sky was perfectly dark. Ideal conditions, you know.
Right, the theoretical maximum. What do those rates look like for the Perseids?
They vary quite a bit, actually. Peaks over 100 ZHR are pretty common, but sometimes they get much higher, like over 200 in 2004, 1994, and that 1993 was apparently huge, maybe 200 to 500.
Whoa.
More recently, we saw peaks around 150 in 2021 and 2016, so it fluctuates.
So even if the ZHR is high, that doesn't guarantee you'll see that many, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else affects the view?
That's a crucial point. The biggest spoiler is often the moon.
Ah, light pollution from the moon.
Exactly. Like in 2009, the estimated ZHR was really high, like 173, but there was a bright gibbous moon, and it just washed out all the fainter meteors. You only saw the really bright ones. A dark sky makes a huge difference.
Okay, dark sky, noted. Any other tips for optimizing the viewing experience?
Well, first, geography matters. Because the radiant is in Perseus, which is a northern constellation, the Perseids are really a northern hemisphere show.
So tough luck for listeners down south for this one.
Pretty much, yeah. But there are other great southern showers. Second, the best time of night is usually the pre-dawn hours, say after midnight towards dawn.
Why's that?
It's because that's when your side of the Earth is rotating into the meteoroid stream, sort of like running into rain. You scoop up more meteors.
Makes sense, like the front windshield of a car getting wetter than the back.
Kind of like that, yeah. Lots of meteors actually arrive during daylight, but obviously we can't see them then.
Yeah.
So pre-dawn is your best bet.
Got it. So it's not just a modern scientific thing. These showers have this really rich history woven into culture. Let's explore that a bit. I've definitely heard them called the Tears of St. Lawrence.
Yes, that's a really well-known piece of folklore, linking the Perseids to Christian tradition. Some Catholics do call them the Tears of St. Lawrence.
And that's tied to a specific date.
It is August 10th, which is the date St. Lawrence was martyred back in 258 A.D. The legend says the shooting stars are sparks flying from his martyrdom. He was supposedly burned alive on a gridiron.
Wow. Vivid imagery.
It even goes further. There's folklore about cooled embers called the coal of St. Lawrence that are believed to appear on the ground under plants around August 9th or 10th.
That's fascinating. And this Christian story, it seems it might have replaced even older beliefs, right? Something Roman.
Exactly. It's a great example of what scholars call Christianization, layering Christian meaning onto older pagan traditions or festivals.
So what was the Roman connection?
Well, it seems there was a connection partly through sound. The Latin name Laurentius sounds a bit like Acca Laurentia, who was a Roman goddess celebrated in summer, kind of a fertility figure.
Okay.
And this led to a, well, surprisingly sensual interpretation among some Romans. The Perseid trails were sometimes seen as representing the benevolent reign of Priapus's seed.
Priapus's seed, that's quite different from a saint's tears.
Right. Priapus was a fertility god, and his cosmogonic phallus was seen as a life giver, blessing the fields. This was a time when phallic processions and other sexual rights related to fertility were more common.
So the Perseids were seen as cosmic fertility.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Then Christianity came along with, very different views on sexuality and generativity and replaced that very earthy sexual meaning with the story of martyrdom. It's a remarkable cultural shift in interpreting the same sky event.
Absolutely amazing shift. Now, beyond folklore, the Perseids also marked some early steps in the science of meteors, didn't they? Moving towards observation.
They certainly did. Adolphe Quetelet, back in 1836, made a key observation. He wrote, I think I noticed also a greater frequency of these meteors in the month of August, from 8 to 15.
So he noticed the timing.
Yes, and he even predicted a peak around August 10th. Other astronomers confirmed it the next year. That was a huge step, recognizing it wasn't just random flashes, but a predictable annual thing.
And then came the big connection, the aha moment.
That was Giovanni Schiaparelli, the Italian astronomer, in 1866. He made the crucial breakthrough, linking meteor showers directly to comets.
How did he figure that out?
It came after Comet Swift-Tuttle. The Perseids' parent comet had passed perihelion, its closest point to the Sun, in 1862. Schiaparelli calculated its orbit and realized it matched the orbit of the Perseid meteoroids. He discussed it in letters with Angelo Secchi. That was the game changer, connecting these streaks of light to specific objects way out in space.
Really pulling it out of pure mystery and into, well, astrophysics. And fast forward to more modern times, the Perseids have even shown up in popular culture, which is always fun to see.
It really shows how these natural spectacles kind of seep into our collective consciousness, inspiring artists and writers.
Like in books?
Yep. Thomas Pynchon's novel from 2006, Against the Day. There's a scene where characters pause to watch the Perseid meteor shower. Just a small moment, but it roots the story in this shared cosmic experience.
And even for kids, right? In a very cute way.
Oh, yeah. The Curious George TV show. There's an episode where George and his friends think the Perseids are actually creatures that look like purses.
Ah, purses.
That's adorable.
It's a charming little misunderstanding, very relatable for kids trying to figure out the world.
And there's that classic song lyric that always makes me think of meteor showers.
Ah, you must mean John Denver's Rocky Mountain High.
Exactly. I've seen it raining fire in the sky.
That's definitely a reference to meteor showers like the Perseids. Just captures that awe perfectly, doesn't it? Shows how it becomes part of our cultural vocabulary for wonder.
What an incredible journey we've taken then. Seriously, from comet dust speeding through space.
Yeah, at nearly 60 kilometers a second. To ancient myths about fertility gods and saints' tears, key scientific discoveries.
And then showing up in Pynchon, Curious George, John Denver. It's quite a range.
It really is a profound illustration, isn't it? How a seemingly simple event in the sky connects astronomy, history, human imagination, everything.
It absolutely underscores how our understanding of the universe shapes our culture, and how our culture in turn frames how we see the universe.
So for you, our listener, what does this all mean? Maybe next time you look up at the night sky, you'll consider how many other wonders up there aren't just science. There are also these powerful threads woven into this huge, rich tapestry of human stories, beliefs, discoveries.
Yeah, perhaps it encouraged you to look a bit deeper. The sky is just full of stories waiting to be uncovered. What other connections might you find hidden in the stars above, connections we haven't even touched on today?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take concepts everyone thinks they know, and then we peel back the layers, see what's really underneath. Today, we're plunging into a word you hear constantly. Karma. Most of us probably have a general sense of it, right? But prepare for a journey. It might challenge what you think you know about cause and effect, maybe free will, even your own daily habits. Our guide for today's deep dive is, maybe surprisingly, a really rich Wikipedia article. It's packed with insights from ancient traditions, modern thought, all about karma.
Yeah, and our mission here is pretty straightforward. We want to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from all that information. We want to help you, our listener, get truly well informed on this, well, really multifaceted topic, hopefully with some surprising facts, maybe just enough humor to keep things interesting.
Okay, let's unpack this then. You might think you know karma, but I'm already getting those aha moments just looking through our source material here. So if I ask someone on the street, what's karma? They'd probably say something like, oh, what goes around comes around, yeah. You know, action, work, or deed, and its effect or consequences. Sounds almost too simple.
That's definitely the common starting point. And it's not wrong exactly, but the Sanskrit meaning of karma, that immediately takes us deeper. See, in the ancient text, karma is different from kriya. Kriya is more like the activity itself, the physical doing. Karma, though, that refers to both the action and, crucially, the intention behind it. Some scholars even talk about it like a metaphysical residue left in the actor.
A residue, like an imprint.
Kind of, yeah. Like an energetic stamp, maybe. Or a subtle programming left on your inner self every time you act intentionally. So, good intent, good deeds, they lead to good karma. And, well, it follows that bad intent and bad deeds lead to bad karma.
Okay, that distinction, intention, that's absolutely critical because you hear karma tossed around, meaning fate or destiny or like everything's predetermined. But the source material makes it clear. Sanskrit actually has specific words for those ideas, like prarabdha.
Exactly. Prarabdha refers to the part of your past karma that's ripening now in this life. It's not saying everything is locked in stone. And this is where it gets really interesting. This principle of karma, or the karma theory, the law of karma, it's complex. It's derived from these ancient Indian texts. And its definition isn't just one thing. It kind of weaves together three key themes: causality, ethicization, and rebirth.
Right, okay. Let's break those down. First one, causality. This seems to be the core idea, right? That your actions, and just as importantly, your intentions affect you and the life you live. There's this incredible quote from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, a really, really old text. It puts it so well. Something like, as a man is like this or like that, according as he acts and behaves, so will he be. Basically, good acts make you good, bad acts make you bad. Pure deeds make you pure, bad deeds make you bad. And then it links it to desire. As is his desire, so is his will. As is his will, so is his deed. And whatever deed he does, that he will reap.
Wow. Yeah, that quote nails it, doesn't it?
Okay.
It shows how central causality is, and not just physically. It's also worth noting, in traditions like Buddhism, actions done without intention or disinterested actions, they often have a neutral karmic impact. And the consequences of karma, they can show up into two ways. There's phala, that's the immediate visible effect. And then there's samskara, that's more invisible. It's a transformative effect inside the person. It changes your capacity for happiness, your tendencies.
So phala is the obvious result, like you help someone, they thank you. Samskara is the subtle shift inside you because you acted generously.
Exactly. Think of phala as the fruit you see right away, and samskara as the way the tree itself changes subtly over time, affecting future fruit.
Huh. That makes me think about habits. Like, if you're trying to break a bad habit, say, mindlessly scrolling social media, you're actually doing conscious karmic work there. Scholars like Karl Potter and Harold Coward connect this to psychology. They say karma literally seeds habits, influences how we see ourselves, shapes our character.
Precisely. And that leads right into the next principle, ethicization. This is the premise that morally good acts bring positive consequences. Bad acts bring negative results, either in this life or, maybe a future one. But it's really important to get this. It's not seen as reward and punishment from some cosmic judge. It's more like the law that produces consequence automatically. Good karma is dharma, leading to punya, which is merit. Bad karma is atarma, leading to pap, demerit, or sin.
So the intention, again, that's what makes it ethical, right? It's not just the action, but the moral quality behind it.
Exactly. Intentions, attitudes, desires.
Yeah.
They're all part of the evaluation. That's what makes it such a profound ethical theory, not just mechanical cause and effect.
Okay, and the third pillar was rebirth, or sasara. This is that fundamental cycle of reincarnation idea, right? Common in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism. The basic idea being that your future life conditions depend on the quality of your past karma.
That's the one. And what's fascinating here is the sheer variety of views on rebirth, even back in ancient India. Some schools thought it was absolutely essential. Others saw it more like, well, a hypothesis, maybe derivative. And then you had schools like the Charvakas or Lokayata. They totally ditched the idea, called it flawed fiction.
Really? So not everyone bought into rebirth?
Not at all. And it definitely presents philosophical challenges like, where did the cycle start? How can you prove it? Tough questions.
Let's maybe trace the history a bit. The word itself, karman, in Vedic Sanskrit, it just meant work or deed, often related to rituals.
Yeah, initially. Like in the context of Shraddha rituals, some early texts, like the Satapatha Brahmana, even linked performing certain rituals correctly with gaining immortality, or at least a better afterlife. But the concept definitely evolved beyond just ritual acts. The Vedic language already had words for sins, papa, and virtues, puja, and that Upanishad quote we mentioned earlier from the Brihadaranyaka. One becomes good through good deeds, evil through evil deeds. That's one of the earliest really clear discussions connecting actions to inherent quality. What's also interesting and kind of murky is the influence back and forth between the Vedic thinkers and these early Shramana traditions, like the ones that came before Buddhism and Jainism. It seems these ideas might have sort of co-developed.
Okay, so focusing on Hinduism, karma evolved over centuries there. The early Upanishads talked about what happens after death. Different paths. You mentioned Pitrayana, the path back into the cycle.
Right, the path of the ancestors leading to rebirth.
And Devayana, the path of the gods, a way to potentially break the cycle.
Exactly, moving towards liberation, not immediate recycling.
And then the epics, like the Mahabharata, they really brought these ideas to the masses, didn't they? Through stories. I remember reading a line something like, "As a man himself sows, so he himself reaps. No man inherits the good or evil act of another man." Very direct causality.
Very direct. And it emphasizes individual responsibility. The Mahabharata also includes debates, like Bhishma explaining the future isn't just past karma, but also a function of current free will. It's a mix.
That nuance is important.
Definitely. And it shows that Hinduism isn't just one view. If you look at the 6 main philosophical schools, huge diversity. Nyaya, for instance, sees karma as totally central, even arguing it implies God's existence to manage it all. But then Mimamsa gives past lives like barely any role. They focus almost entirely on Vedic rituals in this life. And Vedanta schools, they often bring God or Isvara back in as the dispenser of karmic results. It's a really rich, varied landscape of thought.
Okay, let's shift gears to Buddhism. Karma, or kama in Pali, and karma phala, the result. They're absolutely fundamental there too, right? But the focus is strongly on satana, intention, that quote. Intention satana, I tell you, is kama.
Intending, one does karma by way of body, speech, and intellect. Yes, intention is paramount in Buddhist thought, and crucially, Buddhist karma isn't seen as rigidly deterministic. It's described as more flexible, fluid, and dynamic. The effect of an action depends not just on the action itself, but also on the nature of the person acting, the circumstances. Lots of factors.
Feel less like billiard balls clicking and more like ripples in a pond.
That's a good analogy. And karma phala, the result, is seen as a natural process, cause and effect, not a divine judgment. There's even a text, the Asintita Sutta, which warns that the precise results of karma are incomprehensible. That's in Teya.
Incomprehensible? How so?
Well, the text compares trying to figure it all out to things that could drive you mad. One modern comparison used is the Mandelbrot, set in mathematics.
Oh, the fractal.
Exactly. You can zoom in forever and find infinite complex patterns emerging from a simple formula. The idea is that the web of karmic cause and effect is similarly vast and complex, beyond our simple grasp.
Wow. That really shifts the perspective.
It does. And this flexibility allows for approaches like in Nichiren Buddhism, where the focus is on actively transforming difficult karma through faith and practice in this lifetime.
Now, Jainism. This is where things get really different, according to the source. Karma isn't just a principle here.
Right. In Jainism, karma takes on a almost physical quality. It's described as like karmic birth, incredibly subtle particles of matter. These particles literally pervade the universe and are attracted to the soul, jiva, because of its actions and passions.
So karma literally sticks to your soul.
That's the idea. Jainism outlines reality through 7 tattvas, or fundamental truths, starting with the soul, jiva, and ending with liberation, mukha. These karmic particles create bondage, bandha, obscuring the soul's natural qualities. Liberation comes through stopping the influx of new karma and shedding the old.
And a key point in Jainism is strict individual accountability, right? No sharing or transferring karma.
Absolutely none. You reap only what you yourself have sown. No divine intervention, no transfer of merit like you see discussed in some Buddhist schools. The analogy often used is gold mixed with impurities. The soul is inherently pure, like gold, but it gets mixed with these karmic impurities. Spiritual practice is about refining it back to its pure state.
And they have a really detailed system, the 8 karmas.
Yes, 8 main types of karmic particles that affect the soul in specific ways, like Janata Varnya, which obstructs knowledge, Monya, which causes delusion, Ayu, which determines lifespan. It's incredibly specific.
Okay, so beyond those 3 huge traditions, karma's influence pops up elsewhere too, like in Sikhism. The idea there is that we're all under Maya, this illusion of the world, and karma is the law ensuring we harvest exactly what we sow. Seems pretty aligned.
It shares that core principle of cause and effect tied to action, yes. Then you have Falun Gong, which offers a very distinct take. For them, karma is exclusively negative. It's seen as the source of all suffering, a black substance built up over lifetimes.
So no good karma in their view.
They use a different term for that. Dai, meaning virtue. That's the white substance, the positive counterpart. And Li Hongxi, the founder, clarifies statements about suffering and medicine, saying suffering can burn off karma, but it's about understanding the relationship between cultivation and healing, not a command to refuse medical help.
Got it. And Taoism. It has a notion of deeds being tracked by deities.
Right, tracked by deities and spirits, with retribution following like a shadow. It seems to have developed in stages. First, simple causality, then ideas about transferring karma, and eventually incorporating rebirth linked to karma, even allowing rituals to help ease karmic debts.
And briefly, Shinto.
Shinto interprets karma, or something analogous, as musubi. This is seen as a force that enriches, empowers, and affirms life. It's more about creative life energy and connection, forming the basis of their worldview.
Okay, with such a widespread and ancient idea, there are bound to be controversies. A big one seems to be free will versus destiny. The source calls it the moral agency problem. Like, if everything is just past karma playing out, are you really responsible now? Should victims blame themselves? Does it kill motivation for moral improvement?
Huge questions, and the responses vary. Many traditions, especially ones focusing on the present life, like yoga or Advaita Vedanta, really push back against pure determinism. They stress that karma includes intent from this life. So you're constantly creating new karma through your conscious choices and actions now. That makes you a moral agent.
So you're not just playing out an old script.
No, you're co-authoring the next scene. Also, they often clarify that karma explains some suffering, particularly related to moral choices, but not necessarily all suffering, distinguishing it from natural evils like earthquakes. It leaves room for agency.
But there's still that psychological indeterminacy, right? You can't know your past karma for sure. So how do you know if your current suffering is payback or just something you can fix now?
That's a genuine challenge, absolutely. It makes it hard to apply the theory cleanly in practice sometimes. And this isn't unique to karma. Religions with the concept of a divine plan face similar issues of not knowing the full picture. The schools focusing on rebirth face this most directly.
And what about transferability? The idea that merit or good karma can be transferred?
Yeah, that's a significant point of difference. Some Mahayana Buddhist schools embrace it, often linked to bodhisattvas, sharing merit or encouraging religious giving. But this is strongly rejected by most Hindu schools, and especially by Jainism. Their view is adamant. Karma is strictly individual. You cannot give yours away or take someone else's.
So individual accountability versus maybe collective spiritual benefit. A real tension there.
Definitely. Proponents argue it fosters compassion and generosity, while opponents insist it undermines personal responsibility.
Okay, and the really big one. The problem of evil. Why is there so much suffering in the world? How does karma explain that?
Well, the framing is different than in, say, Abrahamic religions. Many Indian traditions aren't based on an all-powerful, all-good creator God in the same way. So the question isn't necessarily, why would a good God allow this? For non-theistic schools, it's just how the law of karma works. Even the theistic Hindu schools often characterize God differently. The Mahabharata, for instance, actually debates 3 potential causes for good and evil: God's will, karma, and pure chance. Yaja. And it doesn't really land on a single definitive answer.
So no easy answer there either.
Not really. Many Indian traditions seem to position karma as a principle of innate justice centered on human action and consequence, rather than divine judgment or plan. There's criticism, of course, especially regarding the suffering of innocents, like children. But proponents argue this is often a misunderstanding, that karma doesn't negate compassion or the need to alleviate suffering now, regardless of past causes.
It's fascinating how much karma, or the idea behind it, echoes in Western culture. That saying, what goes around comes around, it's everywhere.
It really is pervasive. You can even see parallels in Christianity. Notions of sin having consequences, or teachings like one reaps what one sows in Galatians.
Or live by the sword, die by the sword.
Exactly. Those scholars usually distinguish it from the idea of a single last judgment. Karma is generally seen as an ongoing, continuous process.
And in Judaism, there's mida, neged mida, measure for measure.
Yes, Rabbi David Wolpe drew a comparison there, seeing it as a form of divine retribution akin to karma's cause and effect.
What about more modern fields, like psychoanalysis?
Ah, Carl Jung, he had that famous line, "When an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate."
That sounds remarkably like karma's emphasis on inner states and intention shaping outer reality.
It really does. Practices like meditation or metacognition, which aim to increase self-awareness, You could see them as ways to reduce negative karmic patterns, almost like fostering emotional hygiene towards what Jung called individuation or self-actualization, maybe states hypothetically devoid of any karma. And there's even actual scientific evidence now showing long-term meditation can cause neuronal changes. Our interactions can literally reshape our brains.
And finally, theosophy. They really brought karma into Western popular awareness, didn't they?
They certainly played a huge role, popularizing it and leading to ideas like the law of return or the Wiccan threefold law. Theosophist I.K. Tandy put it quite clearly, karma is nothing but the law of cause and effect operating in the realm of human life, bringing about adjustments based on thoughts, emotions, and actions.
So wrapping this all up, wow, karma is way more than just cosmic payback. It's this incredibly profound, complex idea, action, intention, consequence, rebirth, ethics. Debated and interpreted so differently across traditions and centuries, it's less about what just happens to you and much more about what you do and, crucially, what you intend.
Absolutely. Which leads us maybe to a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. If karma really does operate as this kind of self-regulating universal principle based on our intentional actions, what new karma are you consciously choosing to create in your life? Not just for yourself, but maybe for those around you too, starting right now, today.
Something powerful to think about. Keep exploring, keep reflecting. We'll be back soon for another deep dive.